My name is Patrick Bateman, and this is my confession. I live in the American Gardens building on West 81st Street on the 11th floor. Living in a population-dense city like New York comes with many benefits, such as a greater variety of dating options, higher quality amenities, and a 24-hour food delivery service that enables me to have an immigrant bring me dairy-free frappuccinos at the touch of a button. All of which I have great appreciation for. However, both the noise and air are more polluted, and the number of liberals per melee is significantly above average. This can be very detrimental to one's mental health due to a phenomenon known as social contagion. You see, scientific studies have confirmed my suspicions that liberals have a much higher level of mental illness. And mental illness, like any illness, is capable of spreading. There have been various examples of this phenomenon occurring throughout history, my personal favorite being the medieval dancing plague that was seen throughout Europe between the 14th and 17th century. Here, high levels of stress led to events of mass hysteria where entire towns would erratically dance themselves to death. Some of the infected were noted for dancing uninterrupted for 2 months straight. Initially, I found myself rejecting the notion that a phenomenon like this could even exist, but then my TikTok FYP reminded me of the overwhelming numbers of young Americans currently performing Fortnite dances, and I changed my mind. All of that being said, the liberal intelligentsia's dominion over the major cities is absolute. Therefore, to have any form of success here, one must do what one must to blend in. All 6 of my major social circles are heavily skewed liberal, so to form a sense of camaraderie with them, I go to a therapist once a week. My therapist is a very intelligent middle-aged woman who is shrewd enough to detect my borderline psychopathy, but naive enough to overlook my violent tendencies. A moment of profound clarity occurred when she informed me that my exposure to Mexican cartel beheading videos via LiveLeak when I was a prepubescent boy may have had a negative impact on my psychological development. Like the chainsaw to the blindfolded Mexican man's head, there's no way I could have seen this coming. I work as an Instagram fitness influencer where I exchange pseudo-scientific fitness advice for narcissism-affirming comments. The process is monetized by directing my followers to buy a generic protein supplement that has been labeled with my brand. For product sales to remain high, I must maintain the illusion that I am a natural athlete, but in reality I maintain a strict pharmaceutical regimen involving the use of trenbolone, dianabol, and superphysiological levels of testosterone injections. During my cutting phase, I ingest a 2 mg weekly dose of Ozempic to enhance the fat-burning effects of my strategically controlled starvation. However, chemical and hormonal intake is only half of the equation. Progressive overload during physical exertion is absolutely necessary for muscle growth. I implement a 5x5 push-pull leg exercise schedule. Today is a push day in which I prioritize training of my pectorals, my deltoids, and my triceps. My bench press progress has been plateauing recently due to a minor tear in my rotator cuff. This worries me greatly as Bryce, a fellow fitness influencer, is now within 5 pounds of my personal best. I fear that if he overtakes me, it may induce psychosis. A great irony in my pursuit of masculinity is that I must do everything in my power to combat one of the most classically masculine traits of all, a bald head. I do this as I believe that a perfectly straight hairline must be sustained at all times to maintain peak attractiveness. I do this through a daily ritual of microneedling, finasteride, and if needed, hair transplantation. The balancing of all of these pharmaceutical compounds can prove quite challenging as their side effects often have counterproductive consequences. For example, the 10 mg of testosterone I inject is known to accelerate hair loss, while the finasteride that I then take to combat this hair loss causes gynecomastia or gyno, which is colloquially known as man boobs. The gyno, in turn, ruins the physique that was achieved from the aforementioned testosterone use. My only avenue out of this aesthetic cul-de-sac is a surgical intervention to remove the male breast tissue from my chest. If all of these measures seem extreme to you, you should take your reaction as evidence that you are a beta male that lacks the will to do what must be done to achieve true greatness. You see, the modern man knows that the peak of masculinity is only achieved through using a combination of hormone therapies and cosmetic procedures to snuff out any potential feelings of self-consciousness that may reside within. In his heart, he knows that Mother Nature must be stopped by any and all means necessary. Due to the inflation that was caused by the Federal Reserve's excessive money printing during the COVID-19 pandemic, I also had to take up employment as a personal trainer at my local gym. At first, I was resentful over the fact that my Gymshark sponsorship wasn't enough to support my upper-class lifestyle. But then I realized that being a personal trainer provides me with a steady stream of self-conscious women that I can manipulate into casual sexual encounters. And what's more is that the position allows me to proactively mold their bodies into the shape that I deem most attractive. I happen to find that bending the female form to my will like this is the ultimate aphrodisiac. Today's squat day, Cassandra.
Again? That's the third workout in a row that you have me doing squats, Patrick.
Well, what can I say? Squatting is the bedrock of a good training routine. Oh, and stay an extra 10 minutes when you're done. I have some exercises that I'd like to show you that will help increase glute activation.
All right, well, you're the expert. And listen, thanks again for taking such an interest in my progress.
My pleasure. It's been so satisfying to see your body transform into this incredibly beautiful physique.
You think I'm beautiful?
Compared to that mess that walked into the gym 8 weeks ago, you look like $1,000,000. Remember when I almost threw up after seeing your first BMI measurement? What got into her? Maybe it's her period or something. Oh well, I hate to see her go, but after all of those squats, I love to watch her leave. After witnessing Cassandra's overt display of female emotion, I need to bring balance to the female-masculine dichotomy that exists within my soul. I therefore place a call to the manliest individual I know, Dr. Foxotic, during which he informs me of an extremely interesting opportunity.
Patrick, I'm serious, buddy. This thing is amazing.
Trust Eyes is a crypto casino with incredible incentives for new players. Get this, every 6 hours you get free Bitcoin. Yes, you heard that right. Free crypto through the Trust Eyes faucet system. And with their diverse catalog of games, earning crypto has never been so much fun. When you sign up, you get a bonus of 100 Satoshis, and every bet you place earns you TXT tokens, which you can then trade for real money or stake for profits. But what really sets it apart from the other exchanges in my eyes is that you can verify the fairness of every bet on the blockchain. So what are you waiting for? Use the link in the video description to join Trust Eyes today and win yourself some crypto.
After witnessing a monologue of such raw masculine energy, my male and female sides come back into realignment. Thanks, Doc. I'll be sure to check that out.
Okay.
I then hang up the call and proceed with my workout. During physical training, I listen exclusively to Elvis, who I regard as the first true American Sigma. This particular track was Elvis's response to Fallout New Vegas releasing Big Iron in the year 2008. In a clear nod to the original, he names the track Big Sigma, and in it he seeks to remind the Fallout fandom that Elvis is the Sigma, not Todd Howard. The light and tinny instrumentation is a clear reference to the New Vegas track, and is done so disparagingly. The meek and hollowed-out sound of the backing track juxtaposes nicely with Elvis's powerful vocals and braggadocious lyrics. The AirPods that I use don't provide the same noise cancellation effect that a pair of high-end headphones would, but due to Apple's successful marketing campaign, AirPods have garnered a reputation as the premier audio device status symbol, so I am therefore forced to use them above alternative brands. I note that Cassandra has not returned after her emotional outburst. I conclude that she definitely must be on her period, and so I WhatsApp her a YouTube tutorial on the glute activation exercises I mentioned, so that she doesn't fall behind. In between sets, I post hateful comments on a subreddit ironically debating whether New Zealand should be renamed Zealand because it's not new anymore. Their attempts to form a humor circle jerk by building on previous comments infuriate me, and they deserve my wrath. Nearing the end of my workout, Cassandra sends me a WhatsApp message so long that I'm actually insulted that she would expect me to read it. I reply with a simple K to diffuse the situation and to calm her down. If she replies again, I will block her. I finish my training with a drop set of Kegel exercises and then make my way to the men's changing room to prepare for my shower and to apply my skincare routine. It is here where the gym pecking order is established. Through the changing room's unspoken towel etiquette, a delicate game of psychological chess must be played out where a gentle balance must be maintained. You see, if you are to avoid nudity entirely and you place your underwear on and off underneath your towel, you will telegraph to all of the other change room attendees that you are a man of poor penile length, or at the very least that you are intimidated by their gaze. But on the other hand, if you commit to no towel coverage whatsoever, the other men present may interpret your over-eagerness to engage in displays of nudity as a sign of homosexual peacocking. And if you're sizably challenged down there, actual peacocking. Now, there is no one-size-fits-all solution in this scenario. It's very much a zero-sum game, and you're going to have to adjust your plan of action depending on various factors such as your resting penile length and girth, the temperature of the room, whether you are a shower or a grower, and your current level of arousal. In my case, I consider myself fortunate as I have a penile length just above that of the average Filipino man, and therefore while I may have nothing to gloat over, I also have nothing to be ashamed of. Therefore, my changing room technique is played right down the middle. I enter fully clothed. I do not look at the ground, as although this may seem like an obvious tactic to employ as it expresses a lack of homosexual interest in those in attendance, it also radiates beta male energy. Instead, I stare directly at my locker, laser focused, never breaking my stare as I walk towards it at a speed just fast enough to indicate that I do not savor my time in the company of naked men, but slow enough to remind them that I am a man who will not be rushed by others. After reaching the locker, I begin to undress with my back towards my fellow changing room attendees. I always remove my underwear before my socks and t-shirt, as willfully exposing my genitals before it's absolutely necessary alerts those present that I am not ashamed of the size of my penis, and they will surely respect that. After I am fully undressed, I place all of my clothing into my locker, ensuring that when I bend down to pick up my shoes, I bend with my knees and not with my waist. After this, enough time has passed with my genitalia exposed that those in attendance know beyond any doubt that I am definitely not ashamed of my penis size. So I then wrap my towel around my waist and begin my walk to the shower area. A high-risk, high-reward strategy I sometimes employ at this stage is to steal a glance at some of the other men present. I do this as a kind of intelligence-gathering exercise where I catalog any physical irregularities such as birthmarks, scoliosis, penile curvature, anything that could potentially be used as ammo against the individual in a verbal altercation should they choose to cross me. But be warned, if you are caught doing this, any suspicions that you are a homosexual will rise exponentially. Once I reach the safety of the shower cubicle, I do a brief visual scan for any hidden cameras that a rival or pervert may have set up. Once operational security has been verified, I remove my towel and then begin my thoroughly researched skincare routine that I have detailed in a previous video. After the bathing has been concluded, I cleverly dry myself to 50% surface moisture in the shower cubicle. This allows me to dry quicker once I return to my locker, exposing me to less time, well, being exposed. After the preliminary drying has been completed, I open the cubicle door and
Halberstram,
gasp.
am I crazy or did I just hear you drying yourself inside of the shower cubicle?
Paul Allen, the alpha male of the gym, has mistaken me for Marcus Halberstram, a known beta male. It seems logical because Marcus is a TikToker and in fact does the exact same thing I do, although he has a slightly worse physique and a slightly smaller penis. Nonetheless, to engage in immediate post-cubicle socializing like this, while towelless no less, is a clear dominance display that cannot go unanswered. A moment of sheer panic engulfs me as I internally grapple with one of the hardest choices of my life. Do I cover my exposed genitalia to prevent Paul from phallically mogging me? Or do I attempt to assert a level of dominance back by doubling down on the nudity? I opt for the former. A part of me feels compelled to inform Paul that I am not a beta and that I am in fact a sigma, but he would then have solid intel to use against me that I partially dry myself in the cubicle, which could later be used as evidence to assert that I have a small penis. Yeah, well, the Filipino Bureau of Statistics would have something to say about that, Paul. Paul, hey, yeah, I was applying a new brand of moisturizer that requires application via towel or hand towel, so...
Whatever. Hey, you see Bateman around anywhere?
No, can't say that I have.
I wanted to see if he'd sell me that Porsche Cayenne of his. I need a womanly car for my side chick's birthday present, and from what I understand, he needs the money. You hear that he's been doing personal training to make ends meet? I'd almost feel bad for the guy if it wasn't so pathetic. I guess that Patrick Bateman branding isn't selling as well as he'd hoped. More like Patrick Bateman, am I right?
At this point, I have frozen in place. The potent combination of shock and fury have overtaken me.
Anyway, I'll catch you later, Halberstram, and I'll ask them to turn up the thermostat on the way out. You're looking a little shorter than usual today.
By now, my rage has reached such levels that I begin to have an out-of-body experience, and I am viewing the scene from somewhere overhead.
Hey, Paul, put a towel on that thing before you take someone's eye out, will ya?
I'll have you know that fresh air is very good for testicular health, Bryce. If you had any balls, I'd recommend it to you.
Ooh, if only your comebacks were as sharp as your ab insertions. Hey, chest day Wednesday, Alan?
No can do. I've got a photo shoot with my new sponsor, Nike. I'm surprised you didn't already know that because I posted a promo edit on my Instagram earlier. See you later, betas.
Nike? How'd he swing that one? Hey, Bateman, you alright? You look like you've seen a ghost.
I use an Eastern breathing technique to calm myself just enough that I am no longer remote viewing. I wish. A ghost has the decency to wear a white sheet. Paul Allen does not.
The guy may as well join a nudist colony at this point, am I right?
Hey Bateman, I saw your Instagram earlier. That edit you put up was sick.
Edited it in CapCut yesterday.
Very nice.
The transition effect is something called Sunshine Memories, and the subtitle font is Burbank.
That's very cool, Bateman, but that's nothing. That's Dissolve 3 on Impact in bold.
Nice.
Jesus, how'd a beta like you get so Sigma?
I can't believe Bryce prefers Van Patten's edit to mine.
But you boys ain't seen nothing yet. Fire effects transition, 90s filmic filter, and outlined monofonto with drop shadow.
Impressive. Let's see Paul Allen's edit. The seamless transitions, the little dark age backing track, the AI enhanced sharpness. Oh my god, it even has a watermark. I barely muster the self-restraint to dress myself before I storm out of the gymnasium and make a beeline to the nearest bar in the hopes that alcohol might dull my incandescent fury. I hold back tears of rage as I down my 5th shot of high-end tequila. Somewhere on the walk back to my apartment, I black out, not from the alcohol, but from the rage. I awake to find myself laying in the gutter like a tramp. As I feel the rain wash over me, it reminds me of the shower I had just before Paul Allen disrespected me. In this very moment, I internalize my rage. It consumes me. I understand on a metaphysical level that action must be taken. The wrong must be righted. I swear on the old gods and the new, revenge will be exacted upon the one they call Paul Allen. I have willed it to be so that he will pay in blood for the disrespect that he hath laid upon me. Vengeance shall be mine, or my name isn't Patrick Bateman.